seems to be more media at Sixers practices recently. You wouldn't happen to know why that would be, would you?
I think it's just a coincidence, and the season starts on Wednesday, Mike. I think it's so. Actually, I went to Sunday's practice, and I can tell you the two previous Sunday practices I went to, Rich Hoffman and I asked like all the questions. There was nobody there. And there was a lot of people there Sunday, but there was probably another 15 today. And with him not talking today, we're expecting him in total talk tomorrow, but I would not say it's 100% sure he talks tomorrow either.
Right. I saw yesterday you guys tweeting that Monday or Tuesday they said. Did anybody give any, hey, tomorrow he's not going to talk? Like, was anybody told he's not going to talk today? Ben Simmons, that is, for the people who are wondering who we're referring to. Did anybody address it?
No, I just assumed because he doesn't want to do it. I mean, it's not like he has a point of view he wants to get out. Rich Paul got everything out, I'm quite sure, through the national media that he wanted out. I just figured today was about a 30% chance he would talk because he can put it off till tomorrow. And why do today what you avoid it today, and maybe he won't feel well tomorrow. Or who knows? I mean, he'll probably talk. I shouldn't say that. But, it's not something he's looking forward to. Did not appear very engaged today, just in the defensive drills, and I didn't see him interact with a single teammate. He was talking to like a player development coach, a new guy I didn't recognize, but that was like the only person I saw him interact with. The team huddle, he was in the background, didn't put his hand in or anything, and threw a shot up as he walked off the court, didn't stay around to shoot or do anything. Now, it doesn't mean he didn't come back later and do it, but it did not seem particularly into it, to be fair.
Right. So you guys, just to give a picture for our listeners, you don't get to watch practice until the last 5 minutes or so. So you're behind a curtain. So you're not getting to see whether he's being integrated at all, correct?
Yeah, we're in a small room there, and there's a curtain over it, and we're allowed in for the last 10 minutes. We walked in. They were doing defensive drills. He was on the court. It was 3 or 4 defensive guys and a bunch of player development coaches were on offense, and they were just moving the ball. They're working on defensive slides. He was in for 1 or 2 plays, then was out, and then came back for 1 more. And then when they were playing first team and second team, he wasn't on the court. Maxey was running with the first team, and Isaiah Joe was on the second team because Shake Milton's out, is hurt with that shoulder, and Doc Rivers says he's a ways away. So it sounds like he will not be in the mix. So I would expect Maxey, assuming Simmons doesn't play Wednesday, I would assume Maxey would start and Isaiah Joe would be the 10th man, the other guard off the bench.
Is that the better assumption at this point, Tom, is that he will not play on Wednesday?
I mean, I would say in my opinion, it's more than 50-50 he doesn't play, just my opinion. I mean, I would think he'd rather play on the road than at home to start. But, I mean, if you listen to Doc Rivers, yesterday, was saying about, he's in good shape, but he's not in game condition. And when he's ready, he'll play. He's kind of planting the seeds that if they need to use this as a reason, is my perception, and really won't answer specific questions. Today said he still didn't know if he was going to play on Wednesday. I mean, we're 51 hours away from the opener. I mean, there's not a whole lot of time. They're going to practice tomorrow and then fly down to New Orleans for the, I guess it's 8:00 Eastern time on Wednesday night. So my guess would be, if I have to say yay or nay, my guess is he does not play Wednesday.
That was quick math for a journalist, by the way. Good job, Tom. Tom Moore is a sports columnist for the Bucks County Courier-Times, and of course cover the Sixers with what's going on right now. Obviously, they play a home game on Friday. Is he going to open? If he doesn't play Wednesday, do they just say, you know what, just don't play Friday? You're playing Brooklyn. I mean, that's a pretty high-profile national TV game. Does the league want him to? I mean, that comes into play too then, you think, right?
Well, I'm not convinced that Adam Silver didn't get involved here and didn't say to Simmons and Rich Paul, you got 4 years and 140-some million left on your contract and you're holding out. We don't like this. If you're in the last year of a contract and they won't trade you and you're not going to be there and you're being screwed over, it's one thing. But when you're 1 year, into a 5-year, $190 million maximum contract, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm not convinced that they didn't, get involved. Again, if I have to predict, I will say he doesn't play Wednesday. He doesn't play Friday. Then I think they have like 7 of their next 9 on the road after that or something like that. So if he's going to play, that would be a time, maybe they can incorporate him in Oklahoma City, the stuff like that. I could potentially see that, happening. But I mean, I don't know. And honestly, I'm not sure the Sixers know at this point. I think they're just kind of waiting to what they hear, what he tells them, what he thinks,
What is, is there what is like the feeling? Is there like a tenseness in there? I mean, are the players just like, my God, I'm still like, I know that there was a little back and forth with Tobias, like, hey, nobody wants to ask about me. But I mean, is there like this kind of feeling in there that like, oh my God, like this is not going to work out?
Well, people reacted yesterday fairly strongly, when Tobias Harris was asked about Simmons being back, and he said it was cool and like very underwhelmed. But I think, the PR people talk to them and like, they don't want to be gushing and totally disingenuous. But by the same token, I don't think they're happy. If you were willing to fly out to Los Angeles, like Tobias Harris and Joel Embiid and other guys, to talk to this, your teammate who supposedly is all in with you about winning and so on, and he says, don't come, that would be a little disconcerting to me. And he's not there for the first 2 weeks, and you're hearing, things that he is saying or his agent is saying through the media about, he doesn't want to play on Joel Embiid's team. That it needs to be his team. He's not that guy. He is the third or fourth guy on offense. Defensively, yes, he can be the best defensive player on the team, and he was on the Sixers, which is saying something with Embiid. But offensively, that's not him. He's sort of an Andre Iguodala, not the same type player, but Iguodala was a great role player. But when the Sixers had to have him score 20 a game, that wasn't his role. And Simmons is not like that either. He's get rebounds, distribute the ball, play really good defense. The other team's best 1 through 4. But yeah, the only thing stranger in my 34th season is probably the Brian Colangelo burner account. Because you couldn't have even, and the weird thing about that, Mike, is after that happened, and I looked, every one of those accounts followed me, and I had interactions with some of them and had no idea. The one was trashing Embiid, and I kind of defended Embiid and was trashing Embiid at the expense of Simmons. And I don't know who it was, but it was somebody, related to or involved with, after the fact, I saw, I'm like, holy crap, every one of these accounts follows me. I interacted with several of them. So
wild.
Now that was an all-timer. This is pretty close.
That, and the Bynum stuff was a little weird too. Like, was he going to play? Was he not going to? Then the bowling thing. Like you had that kind of that took you through the whole season of him just not playing. Like, you don't see a scenario where Simmons just like doesn't play at all, do you?
It's possible. I'm pretty sure. I'm quite sure he wants to be traded, but it certainly seems like Daryl Morey isn't going to, give him up for 50 cents on the dollar. So if he doesn't, see, I don't know how this works exactly. Like if he's, for a week or two, you can say he's getting into game shape and not play that way. But at a certain point, they have to come to a consensus. Either he's with the team or he's not with the team. He's going to play or he's not going to play.
Because at least Brooklyn just said, look, we're not going to go through the charade. You're not playing.
Right. I understand that, because you're going to miss half the games at least, to begin with. So what's the point? And what's the point of it? You'll get paid for the road games, I guess, as I understand it, he would, but not the home games. So I don't know. It's kind of uncharted waters, and I don't know what happens. Like if the Sixers say, all right, we need him to play, he's healthy, and he says, well, I have my back is, I have a tenderness or soreness, something that can't be showed up, a soft tissue thing. What's to prevent that from happening? I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying it's not impossible. Something like that could occur.
Now, just in the few times that you do see him, he does appear to be engaged, not engaged, just going through the motions.
Yeah, yes, I was there Sunday, and when we were let in at the end of practice, he was nowhere to be found. He was already off the court, and we never saw him, and we were just told he would talk Monday or Tuesday. Today, when we were let in, he was doing drills. They were doing a defensive drill at the other end of the court closest to us. On the court, he seemed somewhat engaged, I would say, but off the court, like I said, he did not engage with anybody other than the one player development coach. Bizarre. And at the team huddle, he stood in the background and flipped a shot up toward the basket and walked off, the court right when the team huddle ended. So, I really don't know what to say. I'm not. And there are photos that it looks like that he was practicing with a cell phone in his pocket. If you look on Twitter, there's I don't know if it's Kyle Neubeck or somebody got a tighter shot, and it certainly looks like he's got a phone in his pocket. Wow. Now, unless he put it in at the end, but it looks like he's on the court. Again, who knows? I don't really know.
Tom's been covering the team over 30 years. This is the most bizarre story he said other than the burner account, and it'll only get strange. We'll see Wednesday what happens. You can listen to the game right here on 97.3 ESPN with or without Ben Simmons. We'll have it for you against the Pelicans. Tom, thanks, man.
All right, Mike, anytime. Take care.
Yeah, we'll see Tom soon. Tom Moore, sports columnist, Bucks County Courier Times. And, of course, he, like all guests, appeared here on the Sports Bash Live on 97.3 ESPN.